Alright, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today I'm gonna be doing a study. I was about to say studying stream, but I kind of found on my words. Okay, let's start over. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today I'm gonna be doing a study stream where I'm gonna be carrying on studying about VFX Graph. I've been trying to get a hang of well, VFX Graph in general and how things work, systems, contexts, and the various blocks that you can add in the context. I've been learning the basics, and from the basics, I want to be able to build stuff, and well, my avatar as well. I kind of want to do VFX Graph related stuff with the avatar. Or how do I put this? I want to build the avatar using VFX Graph. So be it one graph or multiple graphs, whatever. I want it to be like a mix of VFX Graph and C# and timeline. So there's going to be a bunch of like interesting things that I can do with that. Also, it'll be good practice for, me learning about VFX Graph, because like I know the basics of it. I know how I know my way around the UI. I know how to do various things in it, but I'm yet to dive deeper into, how do I put this? I'm yet to actually make something with it, if that makes sense. And the best way that I know, or the best way that works for me for learning things, is to actually build something. So I want to be able to, I want to build a bunch of things with VFX Graph. And hopefully in the process, I will learn a lot and share knowledge with other people as well. I was having a hard time deciding what I wanted to stream today. Did I want to do some Python or some VFX Graph? Maybe I might do some Python later on. Maybe I might make it like an hour of VFX Graph, then an hour of Python, and then oh yeah, also at the end of the stream, I kind of want to make this a regular schedule, I'm not sure what to call it, a regular agenda, a regular schedule. I want to make it a regular thing where at the end of every stream, I do at least 30 minutes of sculpting in Blender. Because over the past few weeks, I've suddenly gotten really busy. And just give me a second. I haven't checked for the music. Like okay, the music is fine. All right. So over the past few weeks, I've suddenly gotten really busy with a bunch of other things, and because of that, I haven't had the chance to do a whole lot of sculpting practice. And I kind of like sculpting, so I don't want to get out of the habit of doing sculpting. I also want to sculpt a bunch of things, but I'm not able to find the time. So just to keep up my practice, I want to do random sculpts of, still not sure of what. Maybe I'll pick like random animals, or I'll start with like trying to do a dog, or a dog's head. I think I'll start with that, because like I'm giving myself only 30 minutes to do it. So I have to find something that I can fit within that 30 minutes. But yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna do some VFX Graph stuff. I have a PDF opened up separately. Shout out to the people that were involved in making the definitive guide to creating advanced visual effects in Unity. It's basically an ebook that teaches you the basics and a lot more about VFX Graph. It also runs through some of the samples that they've provided. Dude, they've provided some amazing samples. I probably won't be able to I was about to say I probably won't be able to run them, but like that's not entirely true. I've been able to run the build, which 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 was much better than opening it up in the editor, because I wanted to experience the VFX. But it would have also been good to be able to open it in the editor. Unfortunately, I don't think my system is strong enough for me to be able to open that whole project in the editor. Maybe I'll see if I'm able to. Okay, great. If not, then I guess that's that. But the good news is this PDF does go into bits and pieces of the samples that are provided, and it kind of takes apart some of the samples, explaining how various things were done. So that can give me ideas for how I can do some other things. But yeah, I kind of want to. Yeah, dude. Enough talking. I'm just gonna jump right into it. Shout out to Ghost Data. I'm playing their music right now. Go check them out. Okay, so let's take it from the top. Oh, also, I'm trying to keep myself active. Aside from my workouts, I kind of also want to. How do I put this? I want to keep my body moving as much as possible because, considering that I do a lot of work on the computer, or on multiple computers, I'm basically sitting in front of the computer for long, like extended periods of time. Because I do programming, I do Unity stuff, I do Blender stuff, sculpting, 3D modeling, whatever it may be. It's even research, all of that stuff. It's all in front of a computer. So I'm sitting for a lot of time, and that tends to cause me problems like back issues, and if I'm not moving for too long, then I start to get like stiff joints and joint pain and stuff like that. So I kind of want to keep my body moving. One solution that I found for that is I have a timer running, and every hour the timer will go off. When the timer goes off, I restart it, and I get up and do some physical activity. Walk around for a bit, do a bit of shadow boxing, do some stretches here and there. Not like some heavy workout. I'll be doing the heavy workouts as well. But for like an hourly thing, I want to do this at the very least, this light physical activity, and then gradually I wanna increase that as well. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because in the next 30 minutes that timer is going to go off, and then I'm going to switch to my BRB screen and go do the thing. Now here's what I want to do. I want to have a timer in my VTubing app. This might require some changes because like you are currently seeing the VTubing app here. I don't know if you're able to see the mouse cursor right now. Yeah, you're not able to see it. Okay, so I'm learning things about like window capture in terms of like how it captures the mouse cursor, because like I have the OBS window open right now and it's not capturing the mouse cursor. But if I switch to this Unity window, which is being captured in window capture, then the mouse cursor shows up, as you can see now. Anyways, yeah. So right now you're seeing the VTubing app here. The avatar is in the center of the screen in the app, and then I've sort of like shrunk the window and positioned it in this corner, so that's why you're able to see the avatar in this corner. But instead, what I want to do is I want to make the avatar window full screen, so it's full green screen, and then I want to be able to control the camera of the avatar to place the avatar wherever I want it to show up. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, that's how I wanna set things up. That brings me to another thing. One of these days, I want to do the C# async programming stuff. I want to get back into that. I also want to get back into the Python async programming stuff. Kind of need a refresher on both of them because I haven't touched async in both of these languages for a couple of weeks. It's just one of those things where like if I learn it but I don't practice it, I'll forget it. But like if I've been doing it for a while, then it becomes muscle memory and I kind of remember it. But if it's something that I learn newly and I don't really practice it all that much, I'm gonna forget it. So I kind of just need a bit of a refresher. And once I've set up, at the very least, once I've refreshed my memory of C# async stuff, then I can build the controller app, which I will then use to control stuff in the VTubing app. So like I'll be building the controller app on stream, but once it's built, I'm gonna deploy it on another system. That's the whole idea. I'll deploy it on another system, and from that system I'll connect to the app on this system where I'm streaming, and that's how I'm gonna control it. But yeah, that's the idea. So let's jump into this. I probably should have been in just chatting for the first. I mean, it's been like what, 12 minutes since I started streaming. I've been talking for 12 minutes. Let me get a sip of my water and then we'll start. Is music still going? Okay. So, what were we looking at here? So I know that these are contexts. You have initialize particle, update particle, and then you have the output contexts. Let's explore them a little more. Okay, so here we can create a context. They have a couple of different types of contexts. The majority of them are output contexts, so they'll output different types of things. We'll get into that bit later. First we have spawn, then we have update particle. I think initialize should come after spawn. We also have event, which is I'm gonna be using that quite a bit because like the great thing about VFX Graph is you can create logic that dictates how the particles are gonna behave from spawn all the way to the particle dying. You can dictate how the particle is going to behave. You can control various attributes of them. You can set an age for them, how long they're going to survive, what their speed is going to be over time. You do all of that through various like different types of blocks. Why was I telling you this? Oh yeah, so because you're able to create this logic, the great thing is you're also able to create events, and you're able to chain different systems together, or you don't even have to chain them. You can like create different systems and like trigger them at different times for different effects. So that way you don't have to create multiple VFX graphs. You can create one VFX graph that will contain multiple different systems, and then based on what kind of effect you're looking for at that moment, you can trigger that effect either from C# or from timeline. I'll be exploring both those methods as well. Okay, so if we take a look at this system right now, let's say I build an empty particle system. Give it a second. Okay, so the empty particle system. Okay, let's disconnect this. Actually, you know what? Let's delete this whole thing. Alright, so now we have this. This is an empty particle system. There's a spawn context, there's an initialize particle context, update particle context, and output particle quad. So I'm not seeing a particle here. I remember in the past when I'd gone into VFX Graph, I had a little trouble understanding certain things, because like I like to try and build it from scratch. And in this scenario, when I tried to build it from scratch, I think I'd gotten rid of update or initialize, one of the two. I think I'd gotten rid of update, and that had a bit of a side effect with something. I can't remember exactly what the situation was, so I can't go into detail with it. But I later found out that there's a specific reason for it, and you need to have that specific context in there. If that context is not there in the chain, then slightly different rules tend to apply. I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but like maybe we'll come across the issue again. Okay, let's carry on exploring this. So this is an empty particle system. This is not doing anything, right? Let's do an empty simple particle system. Okay, so this is our simple particle system. What does this have? This has a spawn context. In the spawn context, we have constant spawn rate. Okay. Then in the initialized particle context, we are setting... Is this a block? I don't know if this is a block. This specific thing, I don't think it's a block. Hold on. Yeah, this is kind of like with the context. So in initialized particle, you can set the capacity. I'm assuming that applies to the whole system. And then you have a couple of other properties like bounds and bounds padding and stuff. And then you have these two blocks. One sets the velocity randomly per component. I'm assuming it's the component here is XYZ. So it sets the velocity, it sets a random velocity on each of the axes. And then we have set random lifetime, which is uniform. I think uniform here just means a float. Now, what if I disable this? What lifetime is it gonna use? Do they all have the same lifetime? Oh, that's interesting. So it's stopped. Does it start again? So did it spawn 16 or 32? I think it spawned 16 and then just stopped. Okay, what if I enable this again? Okay, it carries on looping. That's interesting. What if I set... Okay, let's add set lifetime. Let's add a set lifetime block in here. Wait, what's wrong? Okay, that's weird. What is the name of this? Set lifetime. Okay, how am I supposed to be oh, that's how. Okay, so if my mouse is here, it creates it. So I don't need to have this selected. I just need to hover over it. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Set lifetime. Just set lifetime. And let's disable this block. Oh shit, I just realized you guys can't see the thing in the bottom right. How do we fix this? What if I do something like this? Does that raise it a little bit? I think that raises it a little bit. I just realized that, yeah, it's not showing. Well, I mean, it's showing, but like you guys can't see it because I've added a little, you know, text box thing. But okay, yeah, this works. You guys are able to see it. I don't need to add more things to the hierarchy, so I don't need to worry about it. I probably need to worry about the inspector because that's going to be too small now. But that's fine. We'll deal with that when we get there. Okay, so here we have a set lifetime. They all have a fixed lifetime of, I'm assuming they all die in 1 second. Hold on, does this give like a tooltip? What does that say? Wow. Indicates how long the particles can stay alive. If the particle's age exceeds its lifetime, the particle is destroyed. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. So I have a little bit of an added advantage that I know how to use the built-in particle system that Unity has. Like, I've explored that a fair bit. I've made stuff with it, so I know my way around that particle system. So like a lot of that knowledge, it kind of translates here. So I know a fair bit of the terminology. Anyways, let's try setting this to 2 seconds. Now it lasts a little longer. Okay, cool. Let's try disabling this so there's no velocity. Now they should all spawn in the same location, but there's no velocity, so they don't move, right? Okay, let's try setting the velocity. Just set velocity. That's it. What if I set the velocity to 1 on Y? Okay, cool. Maybe that's a little too fast. Let's set it to 0.5. Okay. So let's just maximize this and see what's going on here. That looks kind of trippy. Just a vibration kind of look. That looked kind of trippy. Anyways, what was I doing? Yeah, I was exploring this. So I need to see now with VFX Graph, the logic, it kind of goes. It's a vertical flow. It's a vertical. The logic is vertical, but if you're doing operations, if you're using operators and setting attributes and stuff like that, that uses a horizontal workflow. So I can create something here where, for example, I could, I don't know, add, let's for now just add a boolean, and I can connect this boolean to this. This is a great thing. Like, you can actually enable and disable various blocks as well. That is super useful. Like, the system is highly customizable. Yeah, let's set it to disable velocity. So now it just spawns everything here. But if I enable it, then it's enabled and it spawns and moves. Great. Let's try moving this up. I also at some point need to explore. I need to experiment with like different ordering, because like I think the order of the blocks is going to make a difference once I start doing more complex things. This is a simple particle system, right? There's simple blocks that I'm moving around, so you don't see too much of a change. But when you start doing more complex logic, then the order of operations it'll kind of make a difference. Okay, so we have the velocity set. We can delete these two. How do I multi-select there? So we can delete these two. Dude, I don't know if any, like, I doubt any Unity devs are watching this, as in people who work at Unity. I doubt any of them are watching this stream right now, let alone people who are specifically working on the VFX Graph system. But if anyone is watching, I would really, really like to have a zooming option that doesn't involve the mouse wheel, because I don't know about anyone else, but the wheels on my mice, they tend to go bad fairly quick. Like the wheels don't last nearly as long as the mouse itself does. And then once the wheel it becomes problematic, then I stop using it. Instead, because of that, I've developed the habit of using, page up, page down. And in situations like Blender, for example, the amazing thing is they allow you to emulate a middle mouse button, and they allow you to emulate the mouse wheel as well. So I can do something like Control Alt and then left click and drag, or I think it was right click and drag, I don't remember. I'll have to open up Blender to see. Do I have Blender open on the other thing? You know what, let me try to open Blender just for the sake of testing this out. I'm not going to open it here, I'm going to open it on a different system. Where was that? Home, programs, then Blender. Give me a second while I do this. There it is. Programs, Blender 3.5. Oh, 3.5, that's another thing I'm excited for. Like there's a bunch of new features that I've been meaning to try out, especially the VDM brush. Dude, it sucks. Like suddenly stuff came up because of which I've gotten really busy, but I'm managing to bring some of that busy stuff into streaming. Like I'm managing to make streams out of working on that busy stuff. But it sucks that I've just suddenly gotten so busy that I can't really give too much time to sculpting. But yeah, in 3.5 they introduced VDM brushes. They also introduced hair grooming tools, not the old hair system, the new hair curves, which are geometry based, geometry nodes based. So there's a lot that you can do with it. Like you can so you can set up a hair curves object, and then you can edit it using geometry nodes. And in the geometry nodes, you can do a lot of stuff. A fair bit of customization. The hair curve itself, it's just a curve. You can then, within the geometry node, do a lot of customization to it. And a bunch of very helpful community devs, they actually did something with it. Actually, I think it started with one person. I remember seeing one person posting about it. I don't remember if there was a team working with them or eventually a team got involved or what. But either way, huge shout out to them. They decided to leverage geometry nodes to build. How do I put this? They decided to build nodes that you could use to style the hair in different ways. So they made it so create you could clump up hair together. You could make braids of hairs. You could make like locks. Um, you could you could make hair fizzy, um, or fizzy? No, frizzle. You can make hair like you can make curly hair. Basically, I kind of confused fizzy and frizzle kind of hair. Either way, you can make curly hair. You can also make like incredibly straight hair. You can comb the hair in different ways. It basically these extra nodes, they give you a lot more options than the than the old tools gave you. Like when hair curves had first come out, it had like a very basic set of tools for grooming the hair, and that didn't really do a whole lot, at least not a whole lot compared to this. So yeah, that's another thing I'd been meaning to try out. Well, I have been messing around with it off stream. It's just I kind of want to do it on stream as well, because it'll be useful for my sculpts. I can play around with like hairstyles and stuff. Who knows, maybe I could make streams out of doing hairstyles. Imagine that. That would be fun. But yeah, I don't. Oh yeah, okay. Blender opened up. So what I was saying is, okay, an ad started. Cool. So let's just wait until the ad is over. Is the music still going? Oh yeah. Let's go back into that window and just click around a little bit here and there, just so the browser knows, so YouTube knows that I'm still watching, or you know, quote unquote still watching. All right, cool. The ad is over. Yeah, so like I was saying, if any well, like I was saying earlier before I went off on a tangent, if any Unity devs, or specifically devs that work on, you know, the VFX Graph system are watching, I would really appreciate if you could add some kind of alternate zooming option, something that doesn't involve the mouse wheel. Because like for example in Blender they allow you to emulate the mouse wheel. So if I want to zoom, I can hold Control Alt and then left click and drag the mouse up and down, and it zooms. This zoom option also gives me a lot more fine control over zooming as opposed to using the mouse wheel. But yeah, I would definitely like something similar to that. Actually, Unity has that as well, but in the scene view. They don't have it in this view for some reason. In Unity, it's you hold down Alt and then right click, and then you can drag up and down to zoom in and out. But they don't have that for this kind of a window, which sucks, because now if I want to zoom, I can't use my mouse wheel because it starts misbehaving. For those of you who don't know, like when you start having issues with your mouse wheel, you'll roll the wheel up to scroll up, but it's gonna scroll down instead. And then the more you keep rolling it up, it's gonna sort of like, it's gonna start glitching. You're gonna get like this weird kind of, you know, page up, page down kind of behavior. Actually, let me demonstrate it here. So look at this. Right now, I'm holding I'm scrolling down. You can see it's scrolled back, right? But notice how it's also scrolling to the front. Now let me scroll up. Okay, that worked. What timing? Okay. But it doesn't always work. That's my point. It doesn't always work. It's not reliable. Now you can see when I'm zooming in, also I tend to have an issue where like it sometimes zooms out. You get the point. So now if I want to zoom in VFX Graph, I kind of have to pick something. If I want to zoom out all the way, I have to not select anything and then hit F, so that it zooms out to a point where all the systems and contexts in the graph are shown. I'm sure that has a limit as well, because like if I don't know, if I have like 10 other similar systems spread out all over, I don't think it's gonna go like really small, but like I haven't tested that out. I don't want to test it out right now. Actually, hold on. Let's try moving this thing here, and now let's, yeah. So there's the limit. Like it does have a limit for, you know, um, how much it's willing to zoom out, and that's how I zoom out. If I want to zoom in, I need to pick a specific context or a specific block, and then zoom into that. So that's a workflow I've developed for now, considering, you know, I can't zoom in and out unless I decide to change my mouse, which I don't want to do that, because this mouse, it's working perfectly fine. It's just a mouse wheel, you know. Anyways, back to this, what I was doing. So we have created this. We have created some simple logic here. This is an initialized particle, right? What are we able to do in update? Are we able to set the lifetime in update as well? What if I set the lifetime to 0? Or lifetime over time, I think. So, which, I mean, that's not going to make that much of a difference. Oh, something I could do here is set the color so it kind of like fades out. So set is, what is it? Set alpha? Set alpha over life. So I have a curve here. Though I don't need to set, I don't necessarily need to set this in update. It doesn't need to happen every update. It can just be built into the thing like when it's initialized, right? That works as well. Maybe I should slow down the production of these particles. Okay, and now let's take a look at the alpha. So this is what the curve looks like right now. Okay, let's try changing this to something more linear. These are the only options that they give us. I can set it like this. What if I want to flip this? That doesn't, it doesn't give me the option for that. Alright, I guess we'll do it manually. So we drag it up here. Oh, it's not clamped. Okay, so I need to set that myself. What was that? What was the time at? 0? So the time is 0. The value has to be 1. And here, the time is 1. The value has to be 0. So we have a linear sort of curve going. I'm trying to figure out if this is actually doing what I intended for it to do. Also, why is the size changing? Why does it start out small? Is there something set here? No, that's the constant spawn rate. Then we have the bounds. Okay, I'm not setting the life anywhere. No, I'm not setting the size anywhere. Why is the size starting out small and then increasing? Is that happening somewhere else? Oh, set size over life. Oh, okay. And then set color over life. Oh shit, I didn't think about that. Wait, so what would be the difference between placing the color, placing the block in, or rather setting the color over life in the output context versus setting it for the particle itself? Well, okay, so this is a particle. At this point, it's a particle, right? At this point, also it's a particle when it's in this update context. When it comes here, the particle gets output as a quad. So I'm seeing that as one difference. I could also have it output two different things. Am I able to... this is a particle quad. Okay, I could have it output... Okay, I can try outputting a particle triangle. So we have two different outputs here. Okay, hold on. So I'm gonna switch to the BRB screen. I need to get up and, you know, do a bit of physical activity. Be back in a couple of minutes. Here's something I want to try doing. This is my BRB screen. In my BRB screen, I could try adding a window capture. Let's call this VT window capture. And I can capture the... where is it? It's not in the list. Let me maximize it. And now it should be in the list. There it is.
You started with yoga for beginners.
Filters. That's what I'm supposed to look for. Wait.
Unlock your prana with ad-free videos. Try YouTube Premium on us.
Oh yeah, okay. So let's remove this. Let's remove this and instead put a game capture. So let's call this VT game capture. That name is already in use. Okay, VT game capture 1. Let's capture a specific window. Capture this. Cool. Nice. Then let's have a filter. Let's do... what was it? Chroma key. There it is. Alright, that's done. Now let's reduce the size and bring it... I can center it later. Though I should probably place this down here so it's behind the text, it's not above the text. Actually, if I'm doing that, why can't I make it a little bit bigger? And now let's center it. Center to the screen, center vertically, horizontally. Okay. Alright, you know what? That is not bad for... yeah, that's actually not bad. Though, I mean, it doesn't look great that the... what do you call it? The... one of the spheres is kind of like messing with the Twitter text. But you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's fine for now. Because the spheres, they keep moving. So like when they move, when they're not occluding the text, then you can read it. Anyways, I'm gonna get up, do a bit of stretching and stuff like that. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'm gonna mute my mic, but I'm gonna keep the music going. Okay, so I know I said it's only going to be a couple of minutes, but I got hungry. I also wanted to go to the toilet, so I did all that. I tried to rush with the food. I didn't heat it up properly, but that's fine. It's still a little warm from earlier. Give me a second. Okay, so yeah, I guess I'm just gonna eat on stream. Uh, shouldn't take that much time. I'll try to keep the plate away from the mic. Okay, so this is kind of weird. Having the VTubing app maximized, it suddenly started causing lag, but like when I minimized it, everything was fine. Oh, it could have also been the fact that the VTubing app was also maximized. The Unity editor was also maximized. I think maybe the browser might also have been maximized. I don't know. Either way, we can switch. I'm still not done eating, but I can carry on reading. I haven't read a whole lot. I was like exploring this thing. Okay, it's still showing unstable connection for some reason. Okay, it seems like the music has stopped as well.
You began a guided meditation video in your living room, but now you're taking your practice outdoors. Find
Alright, there we go. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna mute. I'll finish eating and then I'll come back. Okay, so I'm done eating almost, and in the time that I got done eating, um, it seems like the internet problems have also cleared up. So I think we are good to go. Give me a second. Let me just drink something. All right. So, I was exploring. Hold on. Okay, so I was trying to figure out. Oh, you know what? Okay, that makes sense. So if we have two different outputs, um, what if I set a size over? No, no, no. What if I set velocity over life on the x-axis for this one? Actually, I'm not sure if this is even working. Let's. Is it working? Is it doing anything? Oh, it is, but it's way too small. That's the problem. Okay. All right. Uh, can I just copy this? Oh man, that is convenient. I'm gonna need to write that down, or I'm gonna need to remember that. That is convenient. You can just click, control click and drag. That is super convenient. I never actually tried doing that. I wonder if shader graph has something like that as well. Can I do that with like the entire context? No, it seems like I can only do it with this. That it's still convenient, dude. Or well, with the context, I can probably just make a duplicate with Control D, so that works. All right. Now, I want to also, real quick, it's a very small improvement, but I like that now we are looking at different options here. Now it's looking just a tiny bit more complex than it looked before. Just a tiny bit. Literally, all I've done is added this extra context. It's not really, you know, all that complex more, but like, it's good to see the progress. That's all I'm saying. So I want to set the velocity. Now, I was wondering earlier, what is the difference between setting the velocity here versus setting the velocity here? But I think I get it. If I set the velocity here, it's going to apply to this. It's going to apply to this specific particle, this specific output mesh, um, we could have multiple different outputs. So if I don't want the same velocity behavior to be applied to uh, all of the or to both of the contexts, then I can set the velocity separately in, you know, in this way. So let's try doing that. You know what? Let's try doing that. So let's disable setting velocity. Here, let's set the velocity to, why is it curves? Can I change that to like a float or something? Why is it giving me curves? Oh, because I said over life. Wait, how do I? You know what? Yeah, why did I select over life? I needed just set velocity. Oh, also, this is interesting. So I want to see where it adds the thing. So set velocity. Okay, so not only does it go, so it goes based off of like where your mouse cursor is, but also in deciding where to place the thing, it looks at where the mouse cursor is. That's convenient. Okay, so here we are setting the velocity on the x-axis to 1. Did that do anything? I don't know if that did anything. Let's try setting the velocity here. Yeah, okay. That is not doing anything. Do I need to save the thing? Okay. Nope, still not doing anything. On the other hand, okay, for the sake of avoiding confusion, let's disable this as well. And let's see. Okay, wait, is the music still going? Nope. Wait, did the music stop? Okay, let me go look at the... Yep, the music stopped because the album finished. Or, well, it reached the end of the album.
Alive.
Alright, so I'm trying to set the velocity. I need to read more about output contexts before I do any of this. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Okay, so it outputs and then nothing can happen. Right. What if I have... Is it possible to have 2 updates? Like, would that be... It says remove 1 owners that couldn't be deserialized from... Okay, I'm not sure what that's all about. Okay, so though it feels like 2 updates would be a waste. I don't know if it's gonna... I don't know how that's gonna be interpreted. Okay. What if I do something like this? Okay, that is not moving. Now let's try placing this here, or let's make a copy. Wait, that just vanished. What happened? Okay, so it works in update. right? I could make a duplicate of this, bring it here. Okay, this is interesting. So then this becomes like it starts interpreting it as different systems, right? This is one system, and then this is another system. Okay, so in this case, I want it to be in this direction. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So, oh, so I'm not able to connect one update to two separate updates. Like I'm not able to branch them out. Okay. All right, so that idea is a flop. So let's go back to this. Now let's see if we're able to connect two of these. Actually, one good way to test it would be just setting a random velocity. Set velocity random uniform. Okay. Well, anything between 0 and 1. Okay, so I can see it's working for this. Now, are we setting the velocity somewhere else? No, we're not. So let's disable this. Okay, I think I am seeing both of them. Yeah, I think I am seeing both of them. Maybe let's try a different output context. Let's try outputting a mesh or a particle mesh, particle octagon, point, quad, triangle. Okay, let's try mesh. Okay, I don't think I need to set the... How do we mute? Is it possible to mute contexts? Maybe that's not a thing just yet. Okay. Let's disconnect this. Disconnect this. So what are we seeing here? What is being output exactly? Also, why is it all going in one direction? Oh, you know what? Wait, yeah, why is it going in one direction? Oh, maybe I could do -1 here. Yeah, so then it would go in different directions. And I could do -1 here, but for y, I think I'll keep it 0 and 1. So now it should be going in different directions. It still seems to be going like a lot in that direction. That's fine. I can explore that later on. Okay. Can I set the size? Size is set to 0.1. What if I set it to 0.5? Okay, cool. That's bigger. All right. So I know that this is working. Maybe I should give it a different where is it grabbing the texture from? Because that's kind of interesting. I don't see a texture option here, but it's using the default texture. What are we? Oh, there's a texture. Okay, so I can't read too close to my monitor. Like my monitor is far away from me, so in case anyone's wondering why I didn't see it. Alright, so we have a couple of different textures here. Let's go with, wait, what is this flow map? Where is this from? Just a second, let me read this. Sample? Oh, that's interesting. Sample. Wait, is this showing up on stream? I don't think so. Okay, so you guys probably cannot see it. I don't know if you're able to see. Yeah, you're not able to see it. It's because like this is one of the issues with window capture. It won't capture anything, any extra windows that spawn. This specific thing is an extra window that spawn just to select textures. Okay, so let's select this, and this way I can distinguish between these different outputs. And okay, so they all. Alright, so that is interesting. So per particle, one mesh is output, or rather one output is done. One output takes place per particle. That is why you're seeing an output of a triangle, but also a capsule. So each time you see a capsule, there's always a triangle accompanying it, right? Now if I set a quad, that's gonna get added to this list. So that's per particle. That is per particle. Now, if I want to set the velocity, I need to read up on, yeah, that didn't occur to me. I need to read up on the, oh shit, my other system is freezing. Give me a second. Okay, VFX Graph output. Okay. Um, Give me a second. I'm just looking up the docs on another system. Okay, node library. Where's the list? Context. It doesn't show me. Okay. Output primitive. We have output point, output particle mesh. Let's take a look at particle mesh. The output particle mesh context allows you to render particles using meshes. Okay, they come in regular, unlit, and lit variety. Below is a list of settings. Okay, what if I do primitive? The output particle primitive, quad, triangle, octagon, context are the most commonly used output types and are great for a variety of effects. They come in regular, unlit, and lit varieties. Okay. Oh wait, we can set the primitive type somewhere here. Hold up, so we have quad, we have triangle, we can get rid of mesh and we can do just triangle, I guess. Let's make a duplicate and see if there's a type option. Context settings. Do I change it from here? Oh, there it is. Okay. So I completely forgot about this, that, you know, certain contexts and certain blocks may have, you know, extra information showing up in the inspector. Okay, so I could then change this to, let's say, an octagon, and then the settings change accordingly. That's convenient. Okay, anyways, back to what I was trying to do. So I'm trying to set the velocity, but I'm not able to set the velocity once the thing has been output. Setting velocity doesn't seem to work in output, but setting the size seems to work. Let's change the velocity here and here. Let's do 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So it's a little more slower. Let's increase the lifetime to 5 seconds so I can see it for a little longer. Okay. Now, if I try to set the size over lifetime, what is that set to? 0.5? Okay, nope, didn't mean to do that. So let's set the value to 0. Let's create another key here. Bring that up there. Set the value to 1, and the time should be 0.5. And then set this to, I think 0? Yeah, 0. Great. So it's sort of a smooth curve going on. And that seems to work. You can see the result here. I could also move it so it maybe I should change that bit. Yeah. Yeah. So setting the size seems to work, but setting velocity doesn't seem to work. Let me just Google that. VFX Graph set velocity in output.
Try YouTube Premium on us.
Because this might be one of those situations where there's something that I don't know about the system, or about specific contexts, and so I'm having trouble figuring out what's wrong. Actually, I was supposed to be reading this thing. Maybe this might give some information. You must build your visual effect from a network of nodes inside the Windows workspace. The VFX Graph uses an interface similar to other node-based tools such as Shader Graph. Press the spacebar or right-click to create a new graph. Okay, yeah, this is telling me how to create a new thing. Okay. If you hover the mouse over an existing context, use create block. Okay, I didn't notice that before. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. VFX Graph includes one or more vertical stacks called systems. I've read all of this stuff before, but I'm reading it again. Just to see if I missed some information. Because like this specific... Wait, did this pause? No, okay, there it is. Because there's certain information that tends to be... like specific types of contexts, they have certain details. Each of them does something different. I'm not talking about just the output context. I'm talking about spawn, initialize, and update. Also events. Okay, there's an ad playing. Okay, cool. The ad is over. Alright, systems define standalone portions of the graph and encompass several contexts. A system is denoted by, okay, alright, cool. Each context is composed of individual blocks, yep, which can set attributes, size, color, velocity, etc. for its particles and meshes. Multiple systems can work together within one graph to create the final visual effect. Alright, cool. Okay, notice the four contexts present. Actually, yeah, I'm going through this example, right? So maybe I should be looking at this. Okay, so we have a spawn context. Wait, notice the four contexts present in the empty particle system graph. We have the spawn context, which dictates how many particles are spawned. I'm wondering if that is per second. I don't think that's per second. Is that per second? Actually, okay, yeah, maybe I can decide how much. So we have constant spawn rate, we have periodic, that's bursts, we have a single burst, which only happens one time, and then variable spawn rate. Okay, so initialize, what are their initial values? Update dictates how they behave over time, and then output dictates how they are rendered. Great. The flow between the contexts determines how particles spawn and simulate. Each context and spawn and simulate. Okay, each context defines one stage of computation. Spawn determines how many particles you should create and when to spawn them. Example, in one burst or looping or with a delay, etc. Okay, initialize determines the starting attributes for the particles as well as the capacity, the maximum particle count, and bounds, the volume where the effect renders. Okay. Update changes the particle properties each frame. Here you can apply forces, add animation, create collisions, and set up some interaction, such as with signed distance fields. I'll be doing some stuff with that later on. Probably in my own avatar. And finally, you have output, which renders the particles and determines their final look. That is the cut. Okay, it renders the particles and determines their final look. That is color, texture, and orientation. So in output, you are not able to set velocity. Is that it? Does it just ignore the velocity? Yep, it seems to be ignoring. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna need to read up on. Actually, you know what? This might be something good to Google later on. After stream. Um, VFX Graph output set velocity not working. Alright, systems and contexts form the backbone of the graph's vertical logic or processing workflow. Okay, so the vertical logic is called processing logic.
Watch yoga videos ad-free.
Okay.
Practice uninterrupted. Try YouTube Premium on us.
Okay, I think my timer is about to go off again, so I'm gonna switch to the BRB screen real quick, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Actually, I can wait until the timer actually goes off. Okay, so we are looking at all the different types of contexts. GPU event, initialize, update, output. Okay, output contexts render the particles in a system. They render the particles with different modes and settings depending on the particle data from the initialize and update contexts in the system. It then renders the configuration as a particular primitive shape. Okay. So I still need to find out why is it that, wait, why did my timer not go off? Okay, I guess I didn't restart the timer. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to BRB. I'm also gonna mute the mic. Be back in a few minutes. All right, back. So let's carry on reading. Wait, okay. To customize output context, you can add compatible blocks to them. Could it be that I'm not adding a compatible block? Does the system actually stop you from adding a compatible block or an incompatible block? Because it doesn't seem to be warning me. Okay, well, I guess I can Google it later on. Though I am kind of curious because like I want to know. Yeah, dude, I'm curious. I want to know why this is not working. Set velocity and output context not working. Actually, let's take a look at set velocity, the set velocity node. Okay. Let's switch to a later version. And now let's okay, so let's look for set velocity. What is it? Block? Okay. Velocity. Is it just set velocity? No, it's okay. So the options I'm seeing here are, oh, you guys can't see it because I'm okay. Let me turn this down. Okay, so the reason you guys are not seeing, what was I saying? You guys cannot see what I'm reading because I'm reading it on a different system. But I'm trying to find look at their node library, but like the documentation seems to be incomplete. Okay, let's take a look at block velocity. Yeah, it still says velocity from direction and speed. Near direction. Oh, what if I go for setting? Yeah, okay, set. This block is compatible with so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. Well, okay, this tells me about the set block itself, but like not setting, not specifically the set velocity block. Node library. Let's look that up. Okay, so I think we're gonna run into a bit of a dead end here because there's no link to the docs, but also the online docs don't really, give a whole lot of information on this, or rather, I should say, the online docs don't have the information on this node, or if they do, then I'm just not looking hard enough. Okay, let's try searching from here. Set velocity. There's get attribute velocity. Oh, okay, get attribute velocity. Is that so? Do I need to look at set attribute velocity? Set attribute, set spawn event, set attribute this, set attribute that. Yeah, okay, let's just take a look at set attribute alone. Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm getting way too distracted and going way off track. Let me just check and make sure my timer is still going. Yes, it is still going. Cool. So let's carry on reading. Okay. Systems and contexts form the backbone of the graph's vertical logic or processing workflow. Data in a system flows downwards from top to bottom, and each context encountered along the way modifies the data according to the simulation. Systems are flexible, so uh, you can omit a context as needed or link multiple outputs together. This example shows more than one output context rendering within the same system. Okay, cool. I'm wondering if this is just something that they haven't implemented yet. Like, is that the issue? Or am I doing something wrong? Um, so let's disable this, randomly setting the velocity. Okay, so then it just doesn't set the velocity at all initially. Okay, let's carry on reading. Contexts behave differently depending on their individual blocks, which similarly calculate data from top to bottom. You can add and manipulate more blocks to process that data. Um, click click the button at the top right corner of the context to toggle the, yeah, okay, that's a simulation space. Fine. Blocks can do just about anything. from simple value storage for color to complex operations such as noise, forces, and collisions. Collisions is something I want to look into at some point because that'll be interesting to get into. Because these collisions, they won't be happening on the CPU. They'll be happening on the GPU from what I understand, because like the majority of the heavy lifting of VFX Graph is done on the GPU. So I'm assuming that they're gonna calculate these collisions on the GPU as well. But that also means that there's probably going to be a different way to go about doing collisions in VFX Graph. This is all just me spitballing. I don't know if that's the case. Okay, carrying on. They often have slots to the left where they can receive input from operators and properties. Okay, cool. Properties and operators, just as systems form much of the graph's vertical logic, operators make up the horizontal logic of its property workflow. They can help you pass custom expressions or values into the blocks. Okay, cool. Operators flow left to right, akin to shader graph nodes. You can use them for handling values or performing a range of calculations. Use the create node menu. Right click or press spacebar to create operator nodes. Okay, so I haven't done a whole lot of operator stuff so far. So let's just take a look at. I'd imagine it's mainly like operations. It lets you do operations of various types. Oh, tween. This is interesting. So is this like based on a curve or a spline of some sort? Okay, I'll look into that later. Then we have sampling, and then we have camera related stuff. That's interesting. Oh, it's conversion between different spaces. Okay. All right, cool. Not a whole lot to look at. Wait, what is logic? Oh, bitwise stuff? Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. Wait, let me just make sure the music is not still going. Probably because YouTube paused it. Okay, back to the music. Great. Properties are editable fields that connect to graph elements using the property workflow. Properties can be, oh yeah, so I haven't messed around with properties either. We can try creating a property. Let's say a boolean. Where is boolean? Bool. Oh, clicked on the wrong thing. Didn't mean to do that. Alright, so this is our boolean. We can drag and drop it here, expand that, and then move that there. So that's interesting. It is much faster to set the value through a property, than it is to set it through this separate Boolean operator. Because like if I like you look at this. Well, okay. To be fair, let's try doing this from the outside. It is exposed, I believe. Yeah, there it is. All right. Okay, yeah. So it's much faster to do it through a property than it is to do it from the inside here. That's kind of interesting because I think each time I enable and disable, there's probably some kind of like recompilation going on. That's just my guess that it has to compile the graph again, or maybe there's something else going on. Properties change value according to their actual value in the graph. Wait, what? Properties change value according to their actual value in the graph. So you can connect the input ports to the left of the property to other graph nodes. Okay. Okay, cool. Then we have the blackboard, which is basically where your properties show up. Oh, wait, this is interesting. So we can create a constant. Okay, let's try an integer. A blackboard property without a green dot is a constant. So how do I make it a constant? Just by unexposing it? That makes it a constant? I guess so. That makes it a constant. Okay. And you can also create categories. Cool. I'll probably use that at some point later on when I'm doing more complex stuff. You can also group nodes, you can do sticky notes. Okay, great, cool. I've been through all of that. And then there's subgraphs. A subgraph appears as a single node, which can help declutter your graph logic. Use it to save part of your VFX graph as a separate asset that you can drop into another VFX graph for reorganization and reuse. To create a subgraph, select a set of nodes and then pick convert to subgraph. Pick the convert to subgraph operator from the right mouse menu. Okay, save the asset to disk and convert the nodes into a single subgraph node. You can package systems, blocks, and operators into different types of subgraphs. Alright, cool. Is the music still going? Yep, cool. Alright, so that is it about subgraphs. Then creating a subgraph is analogous to refactoring code. Just as you would organize logic into reusable methods or functions, a subgraph makes elements of your VFX graph more modular. That makes sense. Yep. The VFX graph supports 3 different levels of editing: asset instance configuration, users to modify any existing VFX graph. Designers and programmers alike can adjust exposed parameters in the inspector to tweak an effect's look, timing, or setup. Artists can use external scripting or events to change pre-authored content. At this level, you're treating each graph as a black box. That makes sense, because they're only changing the properties from the outside. They're not necessarily opening the graph and like changing nodes and adding blocks or doing stuff like that. And I guess that's one of the things that makes it a lot more friendly towards artists. So the technical artist can set up this node, this entire graph, and expose a bunch of properties that the other artists can then play around with without having to edit the graph itself. Okay, VFX asset authoring. This is where your creativity can truly take charge. Build a network of operator nodes. Oh yeah, that's what we are doing. We are authoring the asset. Okay. And then you have VFX scripting. This supports more experienced technical artists or graphics programmers using the component API to customize the VFX graph's behavior. With VFX scripting, your team can enjoy a more efficient pipeline for managing special effects and access advanced features like the graphics buffers. Okay, so that's something I'll look into later on. Cool. Regardless of your experience level, you can start creating effects with the VFX graph. Okay, it's like an ad now. Begin with a pre-made effect to get familiar with the workflow, and then gradually assemble your own graphs. Great, cool. Attributes. An attribute is a piece of data that you might use within a system, such as the color of a particle, its position, or how many of them you should spawn. Okay. Use nodes to read from or write to attributes. In particular, use them to get an attribute. Use the get attribute operator to read from attributes. Oh wait, okay. Get attribute operator. So I haven't tried something like that. Operator get velocity. Okay, so we have get attribute, we have get velocity, we also have set, I think. Oh, that's interesting. So setting can be done from here. You need to do that within the context, but getting has to come from here. And that makes sense because like as I was typing it out, I was wondering if we are going based on this workflow where data flows from here to there, then how am I going to be setting? Because then where's the data coming from to set? So it makes sense that the set operators work here. I don't know if get works here. I don't know if it would make any sense for it to work here. Let's see if get works. Yeah, get doesn't work. Okay. In particular, use the get attribute operator to read from attributes in a particle or particle strip system. Experimental spawner callbacks to read from attributes in spawn systems, and set attribute block to write values to an attribute. Either set the value of the attribute directly or use a random mode. For example, set a color attribute with a random gradient or random per component block. All right, makes sense. And exactly what I was just showing over here just now, it is now being presented in the image form. I just hadn't scrolled down, so I hadn't seen the image. If I would have just scrolled down, my doubt would have been clear. Which, to be fair, I prefer to figure it out myself. It helps me learn. A system only stores attributes when it needs them. In order to save memory, it does not store any unnecessary data. If you read that the VFX graph is not... Wait, what? If you read that the VFX graph has not stored the simulation data from an attribute, the attribute passes its default constant value. Okay. All right. All right, events. The various parts of a VFX graph communicate with each other and the rest of your scene through events. For example, each spawn context. I'm wondering if I should have done this stream in just chatting. Anyways. The various parts of a VFX graph communicate with each other through events. All right. For example, each spawn context contains start and stop flow ports. All right, which receive events to control particle spawning. Right, so that makes sense here. How do I oh, you know what? Yeah, that's a good way to test it out. Let's do one event on play and then another event on stop. So let's connect. Let's connect these two. Okay, so it's running. Now it's stopped. Now it's running. And now it's stopped. All right, cool. This is just a very simple use case. There's a lot more. I've read through this before. So like there's a lot more that you can do with events, like a lot more. I'm just doing this simple stuff just for the sake of practicing it. Is the music still going? Yep, cool. When something needs to happen, external game objects can notify parts of your graph with the send event method of the C# API. Visual effect components will then pass the event as a string name or property ID. An event context identifies an event by its event string name or ID inside a graph. In the above example, external objects in your scene can raise an on play event to start a spawn system or an on-stop event to stop it. Cool? You can combine an output event with an output event handler. Output events are useful if the initial spawning of the particles needs to drive something else in your scene. Alright, this is common for synchronizing lighting or gameplay with your visual effects. The above example sends an onReceived event to a game object component outside of the graph. The C# script will then react accordingly to intensify a light or flame, activate a spark, etc. See the interactivity section for more information on output events. Alright. At the same time, you can use GPU events to spawn particles based on other behavior. This way, when a particle dies on one system, you can notify another system, which creates a useful chain reaction of effects, such as a projectile particle that spawns a dust effect upon death. That makes sense? These update blocks can send GPU event data in the following way. It can trigger event on die. No. Oh, these are different types of triggers. So trigger event on die spawns particles on another system when a particle dies. Okay. Trigger event rate spawns particles per second or based on their velocity. Trigger event always spawns particles every frame. The block's outputs connect to a GPU event context, which can then notify an initialized context of a dependent system. Chaining different systems together in this fashion helps you create richly detailed and complex particle effects. The initialized context of a GPU event system can also wait, there's an initialized context. Hold on. There's an initialized context in the GPU event. Where should I be looking? You have event, initialize event, spawn, update. GPU event. Okay, so there's event and there's output event. I'm not seeing GPU event. Okay, let's open this up somewhere. GPU events are an experimental feature. Okay. They allow you to spawn so. Fine. Oh, do I need to install that other package for this? I think I need to install there was an output events handler package, I think it was called. I don't remember. All right. Where's VFX Graph? Actually, yeah, I think this is it. Additional helper scripts that intercept output events, and no, I don't think this is it. Oh, to enable this option, enable the experimental. Okay, so I need to enable this in preferences. Experimental operator blocks. All right. All right, there it is. Wait, did a bunch more just get added? Okay, I can look into that later. So we have a GPU event. What can this do? Initialize particle. Okay. So this gets triggered by something else. Okay. What if wait, what can I bring into this? No, it's from an operator. How can I Okay, you know what? I'll look into this later on. For now, let's carry on reading. Event attributes. Using event attributes payloads use event attributes payloads to pass data like 3D position or color along with the event. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. That's actually cool. Yeah, you can pass data along with the event. So like when the event fires, you also send this extra data along with it. That can actually be very useful. These payloads carry attributes that implicitly travel through the graph, where you can catch the data in an operator or block. You can also read attributes passed with spawn events or timeline events. That'll be useful. You can also read attributes passed with spawn events or timeline events. The set spawn event attribute block modifies the event attribute. So I'll probably be playing around with that with the events later on. To catch a payload in an initialized context, use getSource attribute operators or inherit attribute blocks. Okay. However, it's important to keep these caveats in mind when using event attributes. Regular event attributes can only be read in the initialized context. You cannot inherit them in update or output. To use the attribute in a later context, you must inherit and set it in initialize. Okay, so I don't know exactly what inheriting does in this case, so like I'm gonna have to test it out to get a better understanding of what inheritance is in this case. Output event attributes can only carry the initial values set in the spawn context. They do not catch any changes that occur later in the graph. Okay. All right. So that's another thing I'm gonna have to keep in mind later on. Okay, so I think now I'm gonna switch over to sculpting. Yeah. Or rather, actually, I think I'll wait. In the next like 15 minutes, my timer is gonna go off again. So I'll have to, do the little physical activity. And then when I come back, I'll switch to sculpting. Yeah. Dude, this whole getting up and walking thing, it's pretty good because it definitely makes it so I'm not in as much pain from sitting for too long. So it's kind of good. And on the bright side, like I also won't have that whole lethargic feeling, which it doesn't really help that I always sound tired. But yeah, it helps. It definitely helps. All right. So here we're talking about noise and random operators. Okay. All right. Attribute blocks. Cool. Great. Hold on. Can I set a property's value? Oh, I like this. I didn't notice it. I don't know if you guys notice it. Actually, wait. Can you see it? I think you can. Yeah. If you notice this block here, when I hover over this property, it highlights the corresponding node. And when I hover over the node, it highlights the corresponding property. That's something good to keep in mind. That actually really helps. That really helps because when you have like a long list of properties and you have like a big complex graph setup going on, it can be easy, for the nodes to just get lost, and it can be hard for you to find them. Okay, now here's what I was wondering. Can I set a property's value, um, set property? What does that say? Set what? I'm not sure what the, oh, set strip. Okay. So what I was wondering is if we can store a value into a variable, like how would you go about doing that? Like using some kind of variable as a buffer. Wait, so this creates a get. What if I do this? That does not, no, that didn't help. If I do it like this, that didn't help. Okay, let me Google this. VFX Graph. Set property. Oh, is the music still going? Okay. Give me a second. Let me play the music again. I'm just gonna restart the album.
Play. It takes us to new places we've never been. Where will play take you?
When the stakes are high at work, your tone matters. Grammarly's advanced tone suggestions can help. Because when you write with just the right confident tone, you can meet any challenge to move your project forward. Grammarly's advanced tone suggestions can help you find just the right personable tone to motivate and build trust with your team.
All right, I guess I'll look into that later on.
Grammarly's advanced tone suggestions can help you find
Let's
just
try
the
to
right
do
positive
something.
tone to close that important deal.
Actually, no, wait. I kind of want to look into
Yes,
the
tone
basics a
just
little
right can
more.
help move your
There's
project
stuff that I
forward.
wanted to
When
do
you write
with
just right,
SDF.
click the blue button to download Grammarly today.
Sample sign distance field. So Unity does provide you with a tool that lets you create a sign distance field texture. I think it's a 3D texture. Yeah, it's a 3D texture. So it lets you create that out of any mesh that you give it, which is super convenient because, like, for example, I could create one out of a cube and then I could sample that here, and then I could probably spawn particles in that same in the same location as those points. So if those points are, you know, representing the cube, on those locations I could spawn particles and create all sorts of like fancy effects that look like the shape of the cube. And that's just one example. There's a bunch of different very useful things you could do with SDFs. Physics is another thing. I'm still curious as to why Okay, let's see if anyone on the Unity forum asked this issue. So Unity asked this question and had this issue. Unity forum, VFX graph, set velocity in output. Okay, so I just spaced out. Kind of forgot what I was doing, so I'm just gonna carry on with reading the thing. So physics is another thing. Oh yeah, I was looking into SDF, and then I started looking into trying to find out why this wasn't working. This set velocity thing wasn't working. Which, okay, let's try it here. Actually, I did try it here. Even here it wasn't working. Why is this not doing anything? Okay, cool. It's doing something now. Okay, so if I turn that off, yep, it is not accepting, it is not doing anything with set velocity here, but it'll do something here. Yep, there you go. So that is interesting. I'm gonna have to see, I'm gonna have to experiment with this a lot more to understand why this is happening. Because it seems to just ignore. You know what, maybe I could Google that. VFX graph block ignored. Okay, I'm still not finding anything. So I'm gonna have to find the answer myself by messing around with it. So let's carry on reading. Physics is another thing I want to test out. Actually, how do I set up collisions here? We can probably test it out right now. Collide with A box. Collide with AA box. The collide with AA box defines an axis-aligned box volume that particles collide with. Alright. Let's disable this and then enable this. Now, where does collision come in? This block is compatible with the oh, okay, hold up. So I need to find out what set velocity is compatible with, but I'm not able to find it because the documentation is lacking. Maybe I can check some of the older. Okay, what do we have under set? What shows up? Set attribute. That's it. Let's read through this. This block is compatible with the following contexts: initialize, update, and any output context. Okay. We have set position, set attributes, set spawn time. There's like 5 pages of it. Oh, there's the timer. You know what? Let's restart that. And let's see if velocity pops up. Nope, it does not pop up. There's only direction from something something. What if I look at actually wait, I'm gonna try doing like a Google Docs thing. And see if that helps me. So I want to look at Unity VFX Graph doc. Okay. And I want to find in text set velocity. Alright, okay. I'm gonna switch to the BRB screen and I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm also gonna mute the mic. All right, so I am back. Here's what I'm gonna do. I wanna carry on reading a little. You know what? No. I think that's enough reading on this. Um, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to Blender, and I think the rest of the stream is gonna be mute stream. It's probably only gonna be like another 30 minutes. I don't wanna sculpt for too long because it's gonna start affecting my arm. So I'll keep it up to 30 minutes. But yeah. Let me switch.
Download your meditation videos and unwind uninterrupted. Try YouTube Premium on us.
Alright, so I think I'm gonna need to do a display capture because I'm not able to get window capture or game capture to pick up Blender. So I guess we're doing display capture for this specific segment.
استمع إلى الموسيقى بدون إعلانات وبلا إنترنت وفي الخلفية. جرب يوتيوب ميوزك بريميوم مجانا.
and the dangerous Black Widow, whose poison is 10 times as strong as that of a rattlesnake. The Black Widow is easily recognized by her cold black body and red hourglass marking. The Black Widow's bite can cause serious illness and sometimes death. She encases her victims with silk and then kills with poison from her fangs. The fangs are hollow and about a 50th of an inch long. They're fed by unusually large poison sacs. Only when prompted by strong hunger does the Black Widow kill and eat the male after mating. Yes, the dangerous Black Widow is a menace. She encases her victims with silk and then kills with poison from her fangs. The fangs are hollow and about a 50th of an inch long. They're fed by unusually large poison sacs. Only when prompted by strong hunger does the Black Widow kill and eat the male after mating. Yes, the dangerous Black Widow is a menace, a spider to be approached with caution. She encases her victims with silk and then kills with poison from her fangs. The fangs are hollow and about a 50th of an inch long. They're fed by unusually large poison sacs. Only when prompted by strong hunger does the Black Widow kill and eat the male after mating. Yes, the dangerous Black Widow is a menace, a spider to be approached with caution. Yes, the dangerous Black Widow is a menace.
music videos going while you text, and watch uninterrupted. Try YouTube Premium on us.
All right, so I don't think it's been 30 minutes. It's only been about 20 minutes, I think, since I started sculpting, but I need to rest my arm. And, well, I was trying to make a dog's head. I don't know what this resembles. It kind of looks like a mix between a dog and a rat. But that's fine. The whole idea was to sculpt something. So, I'm gonna stop here, and that's gonna be it for today's stream. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I will see you all next time. Peace.